Welcome to the Bio Show. I'm your host, Polyethylene, and today's episode is on transgenic organisms. This is how we work. We show you a video. Pay attention here, you'll need these stats and facts. Today, we are also bringing on some special guests to discuss and debate the topic. Then, test your knowledge in our segment, Quiz Time! The rules are simple. We give you one question and 4 possible answers will appear on the screen. At this point, pause the video and write down the answer you think is correct. Then, press play and continue this process until you've completed the test. At the end, mark your work as we explain the answer to you. Now it's up to you!
A transgenic organism contains an artificially inserted gene. This alters the genetic makeup of the organism to achieve desirable characteristics. However, a GMO is not a transgenic species unless it can pass on its genetic alteration to the next generation. 3 techniques are commonly used in transferring genes to DNA. Each process begins by isolating an elected gene and joining it to another piece of DNA. It is then inserted into the organism through microinjection, an injection of a substance into cells using a microscope for observation. Retroviral vectors. This process can be performed inside an organism or cell culture. Viruses transport their genomes to the cells they infect. Embryonic stem cell transfer. A transfer of an embryonic stem cell to a recipient organism.
Leading into our next segment, I would like to introduce Mr. Daniel Cruthoff from Monsanto, Australia. Welcome, Mr. Cruthoff. Firstly, what is your view on transgenic organisms?
Our company Monsanto internationally promotes the use of transgenic technology in the agricultural industry. Our production of GMO cotton within Australia increases crop yield, reduces spending on insecticides, and provides a more profitable growth. One of our branches overseas has already started this process with the development of golden rice, a GMO nutritionally enhanced with vitamin A, decreasing malnutrition in developing countries. How could an ethical issue outweigh the possibility of saving lives?
I'd now like to introduce Anna Smith, Greenpeace representative for Australia. Anna, what is your opinion on transgenic technology?
Well, in opposition to Mr. Cruthoff, transgenic technology won't save many lives if we reduce our biodiversity so much that the whole planet's food source is wiped out in one go. Transgenic organisms represent the biggest uncontrolled experiment we have ever encountered. The impacts of this genetic technology are yet to be fully uncovered, not to mention the ethical issues behind the project. For example, the concerns raised over the distribution of life's natural cycle. Some religious groups will also be negatively impacted as laws prohibit them from eating foods affected by genetic technology.
Alrighty, hopefully you've absorbed all those stats and facts. If you haven't, go back and re-watch the video. If you're ready, move on to our next segment, Quiz Time!
What is a transgenic organism? A. A person who does not conform ambiguously to conventional notions of gender. B. An organism that contains an artificially altered gene. C. A substance that increases the rate of reaction without being used up by the reaction. D. An organism with a constant body temperature that is usually higher than its surrounding environment. What does GMO stand for? A. Genetically mitigated overseas. B. Generalized molecular orbital. C. Genetically modified organism. D. Grafted microorganism. Which of the following is not a technique of gene insertion? A. Microinjection. B. Retroviral vectors. C. Monohybrid cross. D. Embryonic stem cell transfer. Case study, Aqua Advantage salmon. Pause the slide and read the information. From your knowledge gained from this episode, explain why Aqua Advantage salmon cannot be classified as a transgenic organism. Answers. Pause and mark your work. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed today's episode on transgenic organisms. We'll see you next time on The Bio Show.